Hello and welcome to another episode here of Talk Tottenham here with your host Tom, giving you guys a match preview for Spurs' next match in the Premier League. This weekend we entertain Crystal Palace at home at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It's a Saturday 3 p.m. kickoff. So in this video, guys, we're going to be previewing the game. We can sort of go through what I think the lineup will be, a little bit of injury news, and what are we on match day 25? There's just sort of 13 games of the season left. I can't quite believe how quickly this season's gone. But with Spurs right in the mix, we're currently sitting fifth place right now on 47 points. So, which I heard a stat during the week. I think that's two points better off than at this stage last season, and we've actually lost two fewer games as well. So as it stands, we've lost 6 games out of 25 games this season. That, for me, that's a pretty good record. But if Spurs are going to qualify for the Champions League, guys, because that really now is going to be the aim. We're going to have to, one thing's for sure, we're going to have to kind of pick up the form. Actually, having said that, if you actually look at the form table, Tottenham are actually doing pretty well. I think we're third in the form table in the last 10 games. But if you look at the form after the first 10 games of the season, it's not as good as it was, obviously, is it? Because we started the season off like an absolute steam train. Obviously last time out, guys, we lost at home, didn't we, against Wolves in what I thought was a really, really flat performance. Not just from the players, but I also thought the atmosphere in the stadium, just watching the game, I thought it was really, really flat. Where's that atmosphere gone, guys, since the start? At the start of the season, I thought the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium was rocking. We need to kind of, even when the team's not playing well, we need to get behind them. And, I don't like that flat atmosphere at Tottenham. It can be really, it just reminds me of the Emirates, what the Emirates used to be like. We used to be able to hear a pin drop. Their atmosphere now is really good, but it's only since their team's been playing well. So guys, look, the next one, obviously Palace at home. I think it's quite a favourable fixture for us. Crystal Palace have obviously just changed their manager as well. They've got this new guy in, which, they might get a manager bounce. They obviously won their last game 3-0 at home to Burnley. So we might be seeing a different Crystal Palace side coming to Tottenham this game. Having said that, when you look at the two squads, we do have the better players. We are at home. Nothing less than a win, guys, is needed in this game. And if we're going to do what we want to this season, maybe fifth might be good enough for Champions League football. It all depends on the standings at the end of the season across the European leagues. But for me, guys, it really would be a bit of a disappointment now if Spurs don't qualify for the Champions League. I think that needs to be the aim. I have heard the argument that it could possibly be better for us if we went into the Europa League for next season, because we'd have a much better chance of winning that trophy. I can see the argument in that, if I'm being honest. Being in the Champions League next season, can't really see us doing too much apart from getting out of the group. Whereas, the Europa League is always a difficult trophy to win anyway. But one thing's for sure, we definitely have a better chance in the Europa League. Having said that, getting into the Champions League, just in terms of the cash injection that would give the club, the type of calibre of player that we'd be able to go after, and I think it would just represent a really, really good first season under Ange as well. That I think it would mark the progress. I mean, no one would have ever expected us to have qualified for the Champions League this season. I think, myself included. pretty sceptical at the start of the season, especially with Harry leaving. But, we are where we are, guys. Palace do have a little bit of a buffer. Not Palace, Aston Villa. Aston Villa now have a little bit of a buffer. They're 5 points ahead of us now in fourth. So because we play Villa in a couple of weeks' time, this game has to be a win. And, with regards to injury news, it's good on the injury front. It looks like your doggy's going to be back. Manor Solomon should be in and around the squad this week, which actually I think is a big bonus for us. I think we've missed Solomon. Pedro Porro, I think, is rated as 50-50. I have heard that he's a bit of a doubt, which is a blow, to be honest, because I don't like the thought of Emerson Royale at right back, to be honest. I know he comes in for a lot of flack, but to be honest, for me, I've always been very on the fence with Emerson, even when he was playing well. I don't think he's really the type of player that should suit this system. So if you're looking at the team, guys, on Saturday, for me, Big Vic in goal. Ange never really seems to tinker with the formation, does he? It's normally a very, very regimented sort of 4-2, 4-2-3-1 formation. So I don't foresee him going into a back three. So for me, you're probably looking at, well, you probably are. I mean, I hope Porro's available, but let's say he isn't. Probably Emerson Royale will be playing at right back, and then you've obviously got Romero, Van de Ven and Destiny coming in to make up the back four. Midfield, obviously Ange has got a decision, but Basuma just can't seem to get in any type of form whatsoever. Pat Matassar, for me, has to start. I do kind of want to see a little bit more from Sarr. I'd probably edge towards just playing Basuma and Sarr in that double pivot. Those guys were brilliant, weren't they, for us at the start of the season? They really pushed us on. Just never really sort of seen them get back to those levels again. And, Højbjerg and Skip, they'll probably be thinking, there's a potential start in there for me. Both of them are fit. And to be honest, Skip and Højbjerg have always done pretty well, to be honest, when they've been needed and called upon this season. But for me, probably Sarr and Basuma just have the edge. But I'm not quite sure how long we can keep persisting with Basuma. We need to see a better performance from him. I'm just not sure what's happened to that player. From that first 10 games of the season, he got sent off obviously at Luton, and then since then, his form's just been really, really hit and miss. Pretty bad performances, to be honest. He's lucky that he's making my lineup, but it's only because I still see the potential in him, and I do think he fits the system better than Højbjerg and Skip. So yeah, for me, Basuma and Sarr, and this is a great game for those guys to really step up. I really want to see them dominating in this game. At the end of the day, if we can't be dominating that middle of the pitch and controlling the game and trying to break the lines of play that we saw early in the season, we're not gonna be doing it in any other game. This is a really, really good game to mark our dominance. James Maddison, I'll play him in the number 8. Let's see if we can get Maddison back to that early season form, because we need him. He is going to be that creative lock picker that we need to kind of create chances. One of the biggest things I did touch on it in the post match review for the Wolves game is we're just not creating chances. We're not shooting enough. I want to see the lads take shots. Even if it goes over or you force the keeper into a save, you don't know what can happen. He might parry it, or you get a corner or rebounds, and you just don't know what could happen. But we just, we really need to start getting our chance conversion up. And one of the best ways to do that, I think, is to shoot more. Either side of Madders in that front three, it's a really tricky one. I was listening to another podcast, and what do you do? Do you know, like, for me, I'm gonna say it now, right? I'm gonna put Sonny through the middle in this game, right? I think the time's come that for me, Heung-min Son is wasted a lot when we're putting him out on that left hand side. He doesn't seem to have that burst of pace to take on his man anymore and beat him. Whereas, what you know you're going to get from Sonny is he's just a brilliant finisher, left foot, right foot, edge of the box, in the box. He's the best finisher at the club and possibly one of the best in the Premier League. So that might be a bit harsh on Richarlison, but I think for me, get Sonny back through the middle in this game, and that's what I would do. And then either side of Heung-min Son, I'd probably play Kulusevski on the right, and it might be a little bit controversial, but I'm going to put probably a Brennan Johnson on that left hand side and see how he fares then. I think if a front three of Johnson, Son, and Kulusevski would be good. Now, the the truth of the matter, guys, is probably Ange isn't going to do that. He's probably going to go with Richie, Son, and Kulu, like we've seen. But for me, I would see this as a game where we could probably experiment and try something a little bit different. Werner, I think, would be better off coming off the bench in this game. And also Richarlison as well. I'd probably rest Richie in this game. Might be a bit harsh, because he has scored 9 in his last 11 or something, because he is in good form. For me, guys, looking at the prediction in this game, we've got to start well. An early goal in this game would be obviously really, really what we need. It's an obvious statement, but the longer that this game goes on at 0-0. Palace are just going to be very, very happy to put men behind the ball and settle for the point. But my hope is that with their new manager, they're going to be a little bit more expansive, and the game might open up a little bit more. But yeah, so for me, guys, I think it's probably, I'm going to go for a 3-1 Tottenham win. I still don't see us keeping that clean sheet. Which is a problem. It's a real problem that we're not shutting out the opposition and keeping clean sheets. But I just think in this game we should have too much going the other way in the attacking third. So for me, guys, 3-1 win. I'm just going to go through that lineup again. So for me, it would be Vicario in goal with a back four of Emerson Royale, Christian Romero, Mickey van der Ven and Destiny Doggy. That midfield double pivot of an Yves Bissouma and Pat Matasar. The front three, what did I say? I'm going to say Dejan Kulusevski on the right, James Maddison in the number 8, Brennan Johnson on that left-hand side with Heung-min Son up top. Let me know what you think of my lineup, guys. A little bit different. Might not be what Ange goes for, but for me, I feel like we need to try something a little bit different at the moment, try and get that form back. What's your score prediction, guys? Are you confident? I feel like we need to be confident in this game, but the truth is, guys, we're just not really playing that well at the moment. But maybe this is the game to turn it. If we can put in a good performance and get the points, I think it sets us up really, really nicely for that massive game against Aston Villa at Villa Park in a week's time. And, Villa are away at Luton this weekend in the late game. Not an easy game. I know we went to Luton earlier this season and got a win, but hopefully Luton, especially the predicament they find themselves in now, they're in the bottom 3. Everton obviously got those points back, so that's a massive, massive game for Luton. Let's just hope they can nab something and we can kind of claw back that points difference on Villa. Guys, I'll leave it there. This is a big, big weekend for Spurs. Let's see if we can do it, guys. Let's cheer on the boys, create a better atmosphere in that stadium. Come on, you Spurs, and speak soon.